There are 5 questions you can ask yourself that will help lay the groundwork for your success and help you design the life you want. Just 5 questions. If you go deep and you're brutally honest with yourself, trust me, you'll achieve your goals. Hi, I'm Constance Howard, Executive Coach on a mission to help women gain unstoppable confidence. Before we get into today's episode, you know the drill. Hit the button and click the bell so you'll be notified when any new videos are posted. Now let's get to today's episode. Most of us go through life numb. There are no highs or lows. It's just, you know something's missing. You can feel like something's missing, like there's something lacking, but you can't put your finger on it. That was me for a long time. I've talked about it from time to time. I had a great career in TV news, and then that season was over, but I just did not want to accept it. And so I hung on. You know, I was plagued and paralyzed by the what ifs. What if you change and you can't support yourself? What if it doesn't go right? If things just go awry, what will you do then? You know the what ifs. I'm sure that from time to time you've been plagued by the what ifs. It wasn't until I asked myself these 5 questions that I'm going to give you did I find the courage and the power to make changes in my life. And when I did, wow, everything seemed to open up. The sky seemed to clear for me, and I got clarity on who I was and where I was going. And I think if you go through these 5 questions and you're brutally honest with yourself and you reflect on the answers, you too will find the answers that you have been searching for. So, ready to get started? Here's question number 1. What do you want? I know it sounds so simple, but it's the toughest question for many of us to answer. What do you want? What do you want in your life? What do you want in your career? What do you want? So many of us can answer what we don't want. You know, you can rattle off 4 or 5 things very quickly on what you don't want. But what you do want is a tough question. And so you've got to spend some time thinking about it. What kind of life do you want? What kind of career do you want? Do you want to make a significant change in your life? And the second part of the what do you want question is the why question. Why do you want it? I had to ask myself these questions and be brutally honest. Again, I knew what I didn't want. I didn't want the life of a TV news journalist. It was great while it lasted. The season was great and it was a long season. But after nearly 40 years, I didn't want that anymore. But I couldn't tell you what I did want. And that's why I'm saying to you that you have to spend some time thinking about what it is that lights you up, what gets you excited, what's your purpose, what's your purpose of being, right? You have to really think deep about it because we don't go day to day thinking about that question. What's my purpose, right? We just go on with life. And after a while, like I said, you become numb to it. But I want you to stop and I want you to really think about what it is you want and why. Now, the second part of that question is really critical because knowing why you want the change will pull you through the tough times. It'll wake you up in the morning and keep you going. You know, if you say that, for example, if getting healthy and fit is your the thing that you want most, and your why is because you want to be able to spend quality time with your family and not worry about your health or your physical ability to walk or run or ski or whatever it is you want to do, right? Even on the days when you don't feel like doing it, you'll do it. Why? Because your why is so strong. It will pull you forward. And here's the deal. Your what and why will open the door to how. Don't get stuck in not dreaming. Don't get stuck in that because you don't see a way how to achieve it. Just dream it right now. Another way to look at this might be if you had no limitations on your life, what would you do? Who would you be? Think of it that way. And as I said, it wasn't until I figured out what it was I wanted and why was I able to move the needle and move forward. And I had to accept that only I, just like I'm saying to you, only you have the power to change you. No one else can change you. No one else can answer the question, what do you want and why, but you. So I want you to dig deep and answer that question. And I want you to journal about it. I want you to write this down. I should have said that at the beginning, right? But I didn't. So I want you to start a journal and maybe start a journal just for this exercise and start it off with what do you want and why. Now, you may have several purposes. I know sometimes people get stuck on what's my number one purpose. I can't decide that. Well, the fact of the matter is you may have several of them deep inside of you, but one will be the driver. One will be the one that you want to achieve the most. Write that down. And remember, if you had no limitations, what would you do? So, question 1, what do you want and why? Second question is, how do you want to show up? How do you want to show up in this world? How are you showing up now? Take some time with that question. I remember, I'm going to go back to my TV days. I did not show up as my full, authentic self. I showed up less than because that was always what was in my mind. I look around at my colleagues and I think they were so this and so that, and wow, why can't I be more like Jane or John or whoever? But the fact of the matter is, I was very successful in my career, but I couldn't see my success. I showed up less than. I showed up physically and mentally tired, because I was mentally and physically tired. But that wasn't all that was in me. I knew that there was a different version of Constance inside me, and I wanted to show up as that person. How do you want to show up? Do you want to show up strong and confident and in charge of your life? Do you want to show up knowing who you are? Or do you want to show up as a smaller version of yourself? You have to think about that. I want you to think about that. And in your journal, be brutally honest, because that's where you can be brutally honest. Nobody else is going to see your journal unless you show them what you've written. So feel free to just let it all out. Be honest with yourself. The road to transformation begins with you being honest. So just let it out. It's your opportunity. All that stuff that's been bundled, and stuff deep inside you, just let it out in your journal. That's what I love about journals. Third question. What is the opportunity in your challenge? Now, I know you're thinking, what does that mean? What is the opportunity in your challenge? You see, every challenge has an opportunity. When I look at where I was, my challenge was figuring out who I was. I knew I didn't want to be that same person, right? So I had the opportunity to wipe the slate clean and to start all over. It didn't matter. Now you might be saying, well, I don't have the money to do it and I have all these responsibilities, and that may be true. But you don't need money to visualize and dream about the life you want. You don't need money to decide what it is you want and why. Remember what I said earlier? Your what and why will lead to your how. It will open doors to your how. You'll figure that out once you're clear on what it is you want and why. What is the opportunity in your situation? I had a weird, wacky schedule because I was in charge of the morning newscast. So I essentially worked all night. When everybody else was asleep, I was working. I was part of the team that was putting the early newscasts together. The opportunity I had was to wipe the slate clean and to do whatever I needed to do to prepare myself to become an executive coach during the daytime hours because I didn't work those daytime hours. So I figured out a schedule that opened the door for me to go to school, go back and get my certification, and maintain my job. That was an opportunity. So really think about it. Don't be limited by, oh, I work all day and there's just no time. There are a lot of people who work all day and they manage to eke out an hour to study if they want to go back to college, or they eke out some time to work on their business. I had one client tell me that she was a young mother, and she said when she would put her baby down to go to sleep, that was her time to work on her business. And even if it was just 30 minutes or, an hour, she would devote that time to her business. So I'm asking you, what is the opportunity in your challenge? Question number 4. How do you define success? Now that's really key because forever and a day, success has been defined by society. And, one of the most prevalent definitions of success is that you had a job, you had a house, you had 2.2 kids. They broke it down even, to that degree. And we bought into it. We bought into this idea that we had to have a traditional 9 to 5. And, we had to, stay on that job forever and a day. And, you didn't hop around. That was success. Success is also reinforced on social media. What we see other people having and doing, we sometimes look at that and go, that's what success looks like. And I want that. But really, in order for you to live the life you want, you have to define success for yourself. Success may not be that traditional 9 to 5. Success might not be a 6-figure salary for you. Success might not be owning a house. But you have to decide what it is for you and make that work for you. I look at it now. I bought into that whole idea that, I worked a 9 to 5. I built a career. I had a house. I bought into that, and I had a good life. But that season ended, and I had to pivot, and I had to decide what was going to make me happy, what was going to make me feel as though I'm successful, make me feel that I have a purpose and a passion. And so I completely changed how I define success. And I encourage you to define success for yourself. I talk about my young nephew all the time. He's just starting his career. He's just starting his life, really. He's still in college. But I'm always asking him, how do you define success? He knows that a traditional 9 to 5 is not for him. He defines success as not going into an office every day. So He's slowly defining for himself what is success for himself. What does a good life, a, a successful life, a meaningful life, what does that look like for him? And it's different from for all of us. So it may be time for you to sit back and look at how you define success and maybe change your definition of success. Change your definition of success. Trust me, you will appreciate that down the road. You don't want to be trapped by what other people say and what other people do. That's the most important thing. You want to define your life for yourself. And I find that a lot of my clients come to me because they've bought into what society defined as successful. And, they've bought into what they see on social media. And anytime you compare yourself to what you see on social media, you come up lacking. Joel Osteen, the pastor out of I think it's Charlotte. No. He's out of Texas, out of Houston, Texas, says, we compare ourselves to someone's highlight reel on social media, meaning what you see on social media has been scrubbed of all problems and headaches and frustrations, and we post what is the best of the best of the best, right? And then we come on and we look at that and we think, wow, they have such a great life. And so often they don't have a great life. They're just posting the best of the best. Fifth and final question: who's in your inner circle? Now, you hear me talking about your inner circle all the time because who you have around you is critical to your success and where you're going. So I want to ask you, who is in your inner circle? There's a saying that goes, you are the average of the 5 people you spend most of your time with. That was a quote from Jim Rohn, another executive coach and motivational speaker and business person. You are the average of the 5 people you spend most of your time with. So, question, who are you spending your time with? I have this exercise that I do with my clients. I have them list the 5 people who they spend the most time with. The second column is why. What does that person bring to the table? And then the third column is like, should they stay or should you ease yourself away from that person? It's really critical. Are you around people who are pushing you to do better, be better? Are you around people who are encouraging you to dream big for your life, to go for, if you're still in corporate America, to go for the bigger promotion, to really expand your vision of yourself? Or are you around people who are gossiping, who are telling you, oh, you can't do that. Oh, you're not going to be successful. Are they going to hit you with all those what ifs that keep you paralyzed? Are those the kind of people who you spend your time with? Do they drain you of your energy? Is there always drama? When you see that person, you think, okay, here they come. There's going to be some problem. Or they're going to drain me of my energy by trying to dump off some of their work or their problems onto me. Now, I'm not saying that you shouldn't be a good friend to people. What I'm saying is make sure that the people around you are supporting you becoming the best version of yourself. And not everybody is going to do that. And some of them may be family members. And you have to find a way to ease yourself away from those people Surround yourself with people who are going to encourage you, support you. When you got that woe is me attitude, they're going to call you out on it. They're going to call you out on your BS and push you forward. And that's the kind of friend you want to be for somebody as well. You want to keep, as we say, keep it moving. You want to keep striving for who you want to become. And those are the 5 questions. They may seem easy, but they're not. Not if you go deep and you answer them honestly, right? And not if you reflect on your answers. So the 5 questions: what do you want and why? Who do you want? How do you want to show up? What is the opportunity in your challenge? What is your definition of success? And who is in your inner circle? It took me some time to answer these questions, and I think it's going to take you time to answer these questions as well, but the end result will be worth it. You'll find yourself free of some of the shackles that are holding you back from becoming who you want to become, who you know you can become. These questions will free you from having that stuck feeling and knowing, right, that there's something missing and that you're not living to your highest and best potential. 5 questions. I want you to put it in the chat and let me know what question resonated with you, and just tell me overall what you plan to do, how you plan to move forward. I'm hoping that this information, all the information that I put out there, will help you make the changes that you want to make in your life, help you grow and be the best you. And I know sometimes we hear that all the time and we think, okay, I'm going to be the best me. But if you're living that numb life and you think, every day is the same, one day blends into another, maybe it's time that you do ask yourself these questions and answer them honestly. And then start to map out how you will make the big changes in your life and how you become bigger and better. And reach out to me if you need help. If you need help, want help, please reach out to me. Here's my contact information. It's going to be put on the screen. Reach out to me because I would love to help you. I would love to come alongside you at this time in your journey and to help you become the best you can possibly be. Okay, I'm Constance Howard, Executive Coach. Just another reminder, hit the button and click the bell so you will be reminded when new videos are posted. I'll see you next week.